All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Allison. I am the Executive Director of the Gallatin County Democrats. I am really excited to have Sandy Erhardt, candidate for Clerk of District Court, with us this evening for a candidates and community conversation. We'll be learning more about her campaign, and the position of Clerk of District Court, because it's one of the few county-wide races that are on the ballot this year in 2020. And it is a service-oriented position, and I think some of us have questions on what the Clerk of District Court actually does. So Sandy, if you will take it away.
Okay, thank you, Allison, and thank you guys for being here. Like Allison said, my name is Sandy Erhardt, and I'm running for the Clerk of District Court. And like Allison said, she would like me to tell you a little bit more about the clerk's office and how it serves the county. The Clerk of District Court is really the backbone to the Gallatin County's judicial system. We are responsible for maintaining all of the district court records, both current and historical. And we do have records dating back to like the 1860s, prior to Montana actually becoming a state. In the records, I mean, there's various records, of course. We handle various case types, I should say. We have criminal cases, domestic relations, civil, adoption, probate, guardianship, and I think the list goes on and on a little bit, but we do maintain a court file for each and every case. And then we also are responsible for sitting in on every hearing that's held in the district court. So it's a big job. And then we also issue marriage licenses. And I guess we issue close to 1,000 marriage licenses actually a year. And most of those are issued in the past few months. We're just kind of coming out of that busy marriage license season. And then also most of the records are public record, and we do have public access terminals in our office. And our records are searched daily by title companies and different agencies, credit agencies, background checks, and the general public as well. So it's our responsibility to make sure that our records are current, accurate, and up to date. The Clerk of District Court also serves as the jury commissioner for Gallatin County. And what that means is every May, actually, the Secretary of State pulls a list of potential jurors from voter registration cards, Montana driver's license, and Montana state IDs. And they provide this list to us, which we maintain electronically. And then we pull from that list and provide them to both, or to justice court, municipal court, and the district court. And so it's kind of our responsibility to maintain an accurate listing of all the selected jurors and to pull individual jury panels upon the district court judge's requests. Another thing that the Clerk of District Court in Gallatin County does is they act as the public administrator. And the public administrator will serve as a court-appointed personal representative for a decedent's estate, and could also be appointed as a guardian or a conservator for an incapacitated person if there's nobody else available to serve for them. So that's kind of, I think that's pretty much the clerk's office in a nutshell. I've worked in the Clerk of District Court's office since 2001, so just over 19 years. And during this time, of course, there's been tremendous growth in Gallatin County, which of course has impacted our judicial system as well. When I started working in the clerk's office, there were just 2 district court judges. We have since added a 3rd district court judge and a standing master. And a 4th judge is imminent. And I know they've tried to have another one appointed, it just hasn't gone through. But yeah, we certainly could use a 4th, given our caseload. And given the district court's caseload and the growth, I'm a well-functioning district court is vital to justice in our community. And my extensive experience has prepared me for the job and has given me firsthand knowledge of the specific challenges that our judicial system faces. I think our court system is behind on services that should have been available years ago. And I'm running because I want to utilize my experience to streamline processes. And as the clerk, I would advocate for the modernization of the court system to include e-filing and a web-based case management system. And I think these would improve, our efficiency and the access to our court records and the court system. What else? So my experience and my work ethic and my dedication to the court make me the most capable candidate for the Clerk of District Court. And I feel like it's prepared me to kind of just hit the ground running and ensure that our office continues to run smoothly as we move forward. We're kind of in a little bit of a transitional period with the retirement of Jennifer, the current clerk. And then we also have one of our district court judges is retiring actually at the end of the month. And so they're kind of in the process of appointing, the governor actually is going to be selecting that probably in the next couple of weeks, the new district court judge. So it's an interesting time along with everything else that's going on, in our world, in our little bubble at the clerk's office too. There's been some changes and yeah, I guess that's kind of what I have. And I'm open for questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Sandy. I knew it was a big job, but hearing you list everything out of what, the clerk does and is responsible for, it's a big job. And I think most people don't have any clue what goes on in that. Like, what is your caseload right now? Approximately, like how many cases is your office handling?
I ran some numbers just because I was curious kind of about the growth. And I think, I guess I didn't run active cases, but on average, this year, I think we're right around 3,800 new cases. And I think we've issued like over 700 marriage licenses or something close to that. I might have that with me. I thought let's see. Yeah, we have about 3,800 cases so far in 2020. And I did run, so last year at this time, we had about 3,400 cases. So even with, the pandemic and everything else that's going on, our office has stayed very busy. The courts are functioning. We have to function and we have to, I think, the COVID pandemic has definitely kind of brought to light some of the issues with things that we could improve on in the court system. Video capability, that was kind of an issue for a little bit, even telephone capability, just trying to iron those out. They have that capability, but there's 3 courtrooms, and I think for a while there, if there was one judge using the video, then the other 2 couldn't. There just wasn't the capability to. So, and then in our office, the judges finally approved just recently from COVID, allowing for at least filings by email. Prior to that, people couldn't file by email. They could fax file, but they had to follow up with the original. So we've waived that requirement, or the judges have waived that requirement too. So we don't have to, file everything in duplicate if they email filing. And that's been well received by both, attorneys and pro se litigants. Many people have used that.
Mm-hmm. I think, the pandemic, what I have witnessed as a citizen of Gallatin County is that a lot of services that were very manual in Gallatin seem to now like the pandemic has brought to light that, oh, maybe email is okay, or, maybe we should use some web forms to collect information, and, like that you can streamline some of these processes safely and securely,
Mhm.
but that make it more accessible, to people who may not be able to get away from their job, during the hours of 8 to 5, or whatever.
Mhm.
So I think that's really interesting. Could you, I just have one more question and then I'll open it up to other people. Could you talk about uh, some of you mentioned like a web-based system for processing court case. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, so I mean, and they have started implementing that across the state, and we are kind of at the mercy of the Supreme Court IT department.
Okay.
But they have started to implement, it's called Full Court Enterprise. We currently use Full Court to like manage and keep record of our cases. But the Full Court Enterprise is a web-based case management system, and it would allow I mean, access to our records online, and of course there's different confidentiality things and things that, the public isn't privy to at this point, and they wouldn't certainly have access to it then either. But so anyway, yeah, they have started implementing it, and I think Justice Court recently, in the past 6 months or so, had that set up. And we just got something recently, and we're not even on the calendar anymore. We were on the calendar to have it set up here in our district court, I think in February. And then, COVID came and they pushed us back, and now they're having, I think just shortages and just people not traveling, and yeah.
Yeah, delays.
So we don't know. Yeah, there's been significant delays, and so we're not sure when they'll get to us.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's really interesting. Nate did put one question into the chat. He was wondering if you know how many same-sex marriage licenses have been issued, if that's something that you know or even is a public record.
It is. I mean, I guess it is public record. I guess we don't really have an easy way to search how many would be same-sex, but we certainly issue quite a few, I suppose. I mean, whoever comes in. But yeah, and we definitely have issued them, but I don't have a number.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. What other questions are there? Dwayne, do you have a question? I'm sure you do.
Sandy, thank you for explanation of your office. I don't think many people understand just how complex the things that you do really are, and I wouldn't have had any idea had I not been able to be a part of a trial that was ongoing in Jefferson County about 4 or 5 years ago. It took over a week to hear, and it was pretty obvious to me that the clerk of the court was doing all of the work and the judge was getting all the credit. So how many staff are in your office, and have you had any management leadership positions before? Or?
Well, there's 13 of us. Yeah, there's 13 of us, and I'm actually currently, since 2016, I've been the management supervisor for the Clerk of District Court. So I'm just under Jennifer and taken on, more responsibility with that. But yeah, so there's 13 of us in various roles. In the office, we have, clerks who are specifically, they cover the courtroom. We have a jury, coordinating clerk, and accounting clerk, myself, Jennifer, of course. we have a file clerk. But yeah, anyway, so there's 13 of us, and there are various roles in the office. And
Good.
yeah.
And
And
you
a lot of
enjoy
it, I do enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy, the interaction with the public. I mean, there's a lot of interaction there, and, I think we're kind of the face of the judicial system a lot. I mean, we're the ones that they, we're responsible kind of for, we can't give legal advice to pro se litigants, but we certainly guide them and try to find the resources to help them the best we can. And yeah, it's been a very interesting job.
Do you have somebody running against you now?
I do, yeah. It's actually a coworker. Yeah.
And you would be the best candidate, right?
Right. Yes, I would be.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
What do you think really sets yourself apart from your opponent in positive ways?
Right. Yeah. Well, of course, my experience. I'm definitely the most experienced candidate. I've been there, again, 19 years. And just my knowledge, my professionalism, my patience, my compassion for people. Yeah.
I have found you to be incredibly approachable and like just very down to earth too, that you're not, I don't know, I feel like you and I could, have conversations and, it wouldn't be any, I don't feel like I come away feeling, I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. This is silly. But anyway, like you're very approachable and I appreciate that. And I think like, these county roles that are more service oriented positions like the clerk of court, that is an underrated piece of these professions is approachability and that customer service orientation. And I probably over the course of your 19 years, you've probably have some pretty interesting stories from your office and interacting with both public and attorneys and judges. I'm sure you have some war stories that would be kind of interesting to hear.
Yeah.
If there's one that you could share that's kind of maybe funny or kind of surprising, that would be kind of fun to hear.
Wow. I'll have to think about that a little bit. I can't, like, nothing really comes to mind. I mean, there's, definitely, yeah, I don't have a specific, I wasn't ready for that one, Allison. I
didn't prep you for that one.
No, you did not.
No worries.
Yeah.
What other questions does anyone have, if any?
So you were talking about the internal courts and documents software. How long of a process does that take to implement if you were to be elected? How would you speed that process up?
Well, I guess I would just try to advocate. And I know there's different, can't even think of the word. There's different like committees that you can be a part of. And from what I've been told is, when you're on those committees as a clerk, you do get a little bit more priority. And I don't know. I know Jennifer, the current clerk, has, she definitely supports change and technology, but I think since she's decided that she's done and ready to retire, she hasn't pushed for that as much. And especially with, just the delays that have come in the past year or so with the Supreme Court IT. But I guess I would just advocate it the best I can by trying to get on these committees, or at least the one committee that works on those things. And then I'm also curious, how much the judges play in this. I'll be curious to see who's going to be appointed in Judge Hawley's role in the department too. And just, I think that could have, I'm hoping, an impact in moving things forward a little bit. So I don't have an answer. I don't know how long it would take. It's discouraging when, we just got an email not too long ago and when we were on the list, we were scheduled to get full court enterprise, and now we're just not there right now. They're focusing on the smaller courts currently. And I know they started implementation, gosh, 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, so it's a big job for them and a long process.
So Sandy, you would be taking over an office, and if you had your wishes and could get anything that you wanted, what would you like to see your office look like? Do you have a vision for what it would look like if it was operating to the efficiency level that you would like to see?
And again, I just feel like having I think e-filing, because e-filing would actually eliminate, the need for paper, for paper files. I mean, currently we have hard files for every single case. And, a couple of years ago, they had to build an offsite storage facility just to house our files because we're just out of room. And I'm sure you guys have heard that, they're trying to, for years, have tried to get a new law and justice center. And it's just tough getting things going but I think for me, I just feel like just modernizing thing. I know the technology is there, and I just feel like it's time for us to use it. I mean, for the past couple, we just finally, because of COVID, our office finally is accepting credit cards. And that was just in the past couple of months. I think we were the only, office or business anywhere that we weren't even set up for credit or debit cards and had to turn people away. So, it's progress, and I just feel like there's more progress to be made just by streamlining.
I don't know how those things work. If you want to implement something new in your office, how do you go about getting it? Do you write a proposal to the commissioners? Is that how it works? And request funding for it? Do you prepare a proposal with cost and a projected schedule or anything? How would that work?
And I'm not 100% sure either. And we're it's interesting because, I mean, even though we're a county office, again, we're supported, by the state of Montana. I mean, yeah. So that's when I say the Supreme Court Administrative Office. I mean, when we call for IT help, they're in Helena. And when we get new computers, just new equipment, everything is done from the state of Montana. So I have a lot to learn, I'll admit. So, and I'm not sure exactly how.
But I'll bet you'll find out.
I definitely will. Yeah.
Isn't one of the reasons why we haven't gotten that 4th district judge yet is because of budget, and it hasn't been built into the budget set in the Montana legislature?
Correct.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of your budget is probably tied to what they do, for the state budget.
Well,
probably.
that part is, but then, yeah, but then, yes,
Yeah.
it is. And then, but we also, I mean, are supported by Gallatin County. I mean, our budget is,
Yeah.
yeah.
And are court fees like court fees fund some of your positions too, or is that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
A part of it, like
okay.
each, and I think it's an interesting, there's some sort of formula. It's, you know, and that's also set by legislature. So when we collect money for filing fees or for copy fees, that money is just divvied up into various funds.
Mhm.
Who do you report to in the state? What department is it that the clerk of the court reports to? Is it administration or?
Well, I don't think that we really report. What do you mean report to?
Well, I guess
Like
I'm just
report.
trying to figure out, Sandy, administratively how it works. You said that your budget came from the state.
Well, no, I think our budget actually for our operating costs is the Gallatin County. I don't think that our budget, but the district court, you know, the judges who we work with, their budget comes from the state. But our budget, no, our
Okay.
budget's definitely
Okay.
Gallatin County.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And what region does the district court, like your district court, serve? Is it just Gallatin?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. See, there's all these little things about your office that like
Yeah.
are just not known, and they're it's complex enough. I remember in 2018 when Rex Rank was running for the clerk of Supreme Court or
Mm-hmm.
state? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, he did so much work to educate people on what his position did. And I think that's one of the both good and bad things about your race, is that it really is just about educating voters on what you do and what this position is. And you know, you have an advantage because you have been there for so long, and you have seen it through a lot of growth and change and iteration. And then, you know, your experience with COVID and how that's kind of accelerated some of this development and progress, and that you can see why you need some of this more modern infrastructure moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that you can advocate on that behalf because now you've seen why you need to be able to accept credit cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, because, you know, people still want to get married, or, you know, there's still, you know, people, you know, doing things they shouldn't be doing, or, you know, like that kind of stuff. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really interesting, your position. And one, like, I just thought about this, but one thing that would be really helpful is if you actually created like your bullet list of what you talked about when we first started talking, like, here's all the things that this position does. Because I think a lot of people would be interested, or at least would be like, wow, I had no idea you did all that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What other questions are there? If any. And that's okay if there's not. Sandy's been in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Well, Sandy, it's really not a hot seat. You're teaching us a lot because your function is extremely important and it's little understood. And I think the more that we all can do to help give a face to the services that the government provides, the better we will all be, because a lot of what the county does is not understood by those of us that are living there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Allison's comment is really appropriate. If there's something that you can do to bulletize
Mm-hmm.
the services that you provide, I think that would really help everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it would help. I think it would help you because it would
Yeah.
give you, well, by you, I mean the office, your
Right.
staff, your function, because it would give people an idea of the importance of what it is that you do as a function and a service.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be a service-oriented person, or you're not going to step up and do this job, and that's important.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So I do have one final question, Sandy. Are you
Okay.
ready? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to help you in your campaign for this office?
I just need help getting the word out. I mean, as you know, it is a big county, um, and as we know, most people or many people don't know what the clerk of court does and how important it is to the county. So just getting the word out, getting my name out in these next few weeks. I have, what else? I mean, I have yard signs to put up. So if there's any yard signs that anybody would want to plant in their yard, I have those. So there's that, and yeah, that's basically my goal right now, is just getting the word out. And
So Allison, would you be a central source for signs like that? I know that I had asked you.
I do have signs for most of our candidates now, not all, but most.
So Sandy could leave some signs with you.
Yep, and she has, and so I've got some. In
Oh,
fact, I
okay.
gave away more today, Sandy, just so you
yay.
know. But yes, people can stop by our office. Our address is 67A West Kagi. Google apparently makes it a little bit harder to find, but it's basically in the office buildings behind Cafe M and the Kagi Corner Store. We're behind a gym, kind of right there at Kagi and Wilson. So we just moved, and that's part of the reason why Google's like, what are you talking about? But I can't control Google. So I'll put up more explicit instructions on our website, GallatinDemocrats.com. And Dwayne, I would be happy to drop up signs at your house if you would like any. I would be happy to do that.
Where do you live, Allison?
Well, I live in Belgrade, but
Oh.
I'm in the office not every day, but almost every day. So I'm
Well,
in town.
I go up the walk on Burke Park almost every other day. So
Okay.
knowing where you are, I can stop too.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
off of Huffine.
Okay. Yeah. But we would be happy to drop off signs, and I'll save a sign of Sandy's for you for sure.
Okay, well, I'll just send you a list of
Okay.
some signs because my yard is kind of small, but I could fill it up.
I bet you could. Well, we would love it. Well, Sandy, thank you for doing this. Thank you for educating us on your office, and helping us understand a little bit more of all the different services that the office does, and why you're gonna do really great at it, and what you get to look forward to. So thank you so much. And if anyone has any questions for Sandy, her information is on our website too, but definitely follow her on social media, share her message out, and just tell all your friends to make sure they're voting all the way down the ballot for all of our great candidates like Sandy, who unfortunately is down at the bottom of the ballot, but it's still an important race, and we're thankful and grateful that you stepped up to run. Sandy, thank you for your leadership.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, now someone else is coming in. So I'm just going to let them in really quick.
Okay.
But if anyone wants to, stick around or not, or if you all want to take off, that works too. Hi, Terry. Welcome. You're on mute. We were actually just wrapping up our conversation, but if you have a question for Sandy, I'm sure she'd be happy to answer it. And if not, that's okay. All right. Well, we, again, thank you, Sandy. We're going to do one of these conversations with her and Zach Brown on September 24th, which is Thursday next week. So we'll have Zach and Sandy talking about the county races. So that'll be a great conversation as well. And be prepared for that question again about an interesting story.
Oh yeah, yes, okay.
From your from your office from the last 19
That'll be
years.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or thoughts or comments?
No, thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Allison.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for being
you,
here.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you, you too.
All right.
All
Bye.
right, bye guys.